There were a lot of trades made over the past couple of weeks with the trade deadline now in our rearview mirror. It's time to talk about some of those moves. What is going on, y'all? 5 Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, some NBA here to talk about the trades that have happened over the past couple of weeks. Most notably, the big ones. I have posted my thoughts on a number of them. You can go check that out in my recent videos. But here to talk about specifically the trades that happened at the top of the Eastern Conference, in which the Milwaukee Bucks, the Toronto Raptors, and the Philadelphia 76ers all made big splashes. So I'm going to talk about which move I think, propelled which team to the top of the East, which move was the best for which team, go into detail about all of that. So with that being said, if you're new to the channel, make sure to go ahead and hit that big red subscribe button down below, because you don't want to miss out when I post new content, and I do so very often. So with that being said, here to talk about the best team in the Eastern Conference, what was the best acquisition out of all these trades, and where does everybody stack up. So with that being said, let's get started. So of course, before I get started, let's talk about the moves that were made. We'll start with the Toronto Raptors, who acquired all-star center Marc Gasol from the Memphis Grizzlies. The official trade was Marc Gasol, of course, going to the Raptors for Jonas Valanciunas, DeLon Wright, a CJ Miles, and a 2024 second round pick. So that was the trade between the Raptors and the Memphis Grizzlies. Now let's talk about the move that the Milwaukee Bucks made in acquiring Nikola Mirotic from the New Orleans Pelicans. They traded away Stanley Johnson, Jason Smith, and 4 second round draft picks to the Pelicans. And finally, the Philadelphia 76ers acquired forward Tobias Harris from the Los Angeles Clippers, but they also acquired Boban Marjanovic and Mike Scott. And in return, they sent out Wilson Chandler, Mike Muscala, Landry Shamet, and 2 first-round draft picks, one of which is protected, but the other one is unprotected. So there you have it, folks. Those were the I can't even talk right now. The 3 trades made by the best teams in the East. And of course, I did not mention the Boston Celtics because they, of course, did not make a big move. So now that we have the transactions out of the way, let's talk about who won in those transactions ultimately, okay? I thought the Sixers got the best players, but they also gave up the most, okay? Tobias Harris is a near all-star forward. He's having a spectacular season, so you acquired him, and you got a guy like a Boban who we know has potential. But you ended up giving up 2 first-round draft picks. Not 1, but 2. Milwaukee only had to give up second-round picks, and same with the Toronto Raptors. So right off the bat, yeah, the Sixers got the most in terms of the best players, but they had to give up the most, okay? So you take that into account. Then we take a look at the Toronto Raptors, who added a guy like Marc Gasol, who is certainly still, has some good basketball left in him, but they ended up giving up some of their bench depth in DeLon Wright and Jonas Valanciunas, so they are a little thin on their bench. And then we have the Milwaukee Bucks, who gave up basically nothing and 4 second-round draft picks for Nikola Mirotic. So in terms of compensation and getting the most bang for your buck, I think that was the Milwaukee Bucks in getting Nikola Mirotic. And you want to talk about fit? I mean, Nico and Brook Lopez as your 2 bigs with Giannis driving the paint. Look at the spacing around Giannis. I mean, that is going to be unreal. I believe their lineup come playoff time is going to be Bledsoe, Middleton, Giannis, Nico, and Lopez, okay? And everybody on that lineup can shoot and stretch the floor, obviously besides Giannis, who is going to be doing what he does best. Giannis, things which is penetrating the basketball to the basket, okay? So to me, best bang for the buck was definitely the Milwaukee Bucks, who also got a great fit, but the best player was obviously Tobias Harris. Marc Gasol is still a very good player, but to me, he was more of a luxury than a need. We know the Raptors have 2 very good big men in Serge Ibaka and Pascal Siakam. So one of them is going to get pushed back to the bench. So it does solidify their bench a little bit. But certainly, I don't think they needed Marc Gasol. It certainly helps them, but they didn't need it. So in terms of, obviously, the trades itself, like I said, I would rank it the Bucks, then the Sixers, and the Raptors. But in terms of which team improved the most, I would probably say it's Sixers number 1. Then I would say it's the not the Raptors, sorry, what's the other team? The Milwaukee Bucks, and then the Raptors, okay? So to me, Sixers are the top of the East to me now. Yes, I'm taking them over the Boston. I'm taking all these teams over the Boston Celtics, by the way. I'm just saying they didn't make any moves. And to me, you take a look at the fact that you have Simmons, Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid now. That's just too much firepower. You add JJ Redick to that. I know the bench is a little thin, but man, that is a lot of firepower. And you're talking about a team that can hurt you in multiple ways on the offensive end and can guard you in multiple ways on the defensive end. And that's the key here, because to me, Philadelphia is going to be able to switch everything on the defensive end. Really, the only liability on that starting five is probably JJ Redick, okay? So to me, the team that catapulted themselves to the top of the East is the Philadelphia 76ers, okay? Then after that, I would take the Milwaukee Bucks, okay? I think with, you know, the spacing around Giannis and obviously having a great coach in Mike Budenholzer is going to be able to utilize these guys. That is perfect. And then finally, the Toronto Raptors. Not saying Marc Gasol isn't a big addition. He is, but like I said, they didn't really need him, but he is certainly going to help. He just upgraded a position to even better. But there you have it. So that's what I essentially think of the Eastern Conference now. But boy, it is going to be fun. Certainly, you can throw the Boston Celtics in the mix there. But to me, I have been firm about this. I think the Sixers are now the best team in the East. That is just how I see it. Then the Bucks, then the Raptors, and then the Boston Celtics. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below if you agree with me or disagree with me. As always, thanks for watching.